Three guys chilling on a podcast. Social distancing because it is cool.
Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to whoever and wherever you are. My name's Harry Barr. This is the 27 podcast, and as always, I'm joined by the wonderful Ben Butler and Joscel Manarambona. Guys, how are you?
I'm back, baby!
Hey,
I'm back!
One episode gone, and now it's a triumph when he returns.
Oh dear.
It wasn't like you were on a sabbatical or anything. You just were at work. It's not like, it's not like we were like, oh, okay, Joscel's going to be gone for a while. It was just, right, Joscel's missing one episode.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Yeah, I noticed you didn't do your It's Podcast Wednesday on your Instagram yesterday.
I need to make a new one. It's catching on, man. It's catching on because people are like, oh my gosh, every Wednesday I know exactly what's happening in your story and I love it. I go into work, my manager's like, it's Podcast Wednesday. And I'm like, do you watch it? She goes, sometimes. I'm like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, just another massive thank you to JK for coming on last week, filling in. I think he did a pretty good job, actually. And I've had some good responses from that episode already. And yeah, people were asking me about the link. So the link to that actual New York Times article is in the description of the video and the podcast.
I tell you, boys, I'm just always providing, aren't I?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not providing the guests. I'm providing the conversation. I am the peanut butter and jelly, and you two are the bread of this.
Oh, really? All right. Well, let's see how good the peanut butter and jelly is at editing this thing. But yeah.
Okay, let's see you edit podcast with no guest or conversation.
Oh dear. So Ben, I'll let you get your mic back to the position. We have some good news from our episode with Craig, don't we?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, firstly, obviously, I was fanboying hard, and it was great. So we posted it, and then I knew that Pompey Twitter, because there's a Twitter for everything. Yeah, there's left-wing Twitter, right-wing Twitter, Elon Musk Twitter, whatever you want. There is a Twitter for it, and there's Pompey Twitter. And I knew that if I tweeted it out and tagged like some of the Pompey accounts and some of the writers and stuff, I'd get a response, and we did. And a few days later, I'm just looking at. So there's a local newspaper in Portsmouth called The News. I was just reading one of their articles. Yeah, reading one of their articles about the goalkeeping situation at Portsmouth. And they quote us, we are in a newspaper.
We've made the news.
We are in the news.
I saw you put on your LinkedIn as well.
What an achievement. Yeah. Well, because I was with one of my friends. I met one of my old friends last week. Mm-hmm. And he was like, put it on LinkedIn because it will get like people will like that. And I was like, oh, okay, if I have to. So I put it up on LinkedIn. You can also connect to me on LinkedIn, Ben Butler.
Get the business
it's been
networking
cool. And then it's just been a good couple of weeks for us. And sorry, let me just have some tea.
Is that a 27 podcast mug? I see. Oh, Joscel, is that a 27 podcast hat? I see.
27 podcast hat right here.
Can you believe it?
And
we haven't even hit 20 episodes, and we've already got merchandise.
Mine's on the way. It's just.
If our viewers wanted to get a mug of yours, where could they possibly get one of those mugs?
Well, just so they would head to Redbubble, and then they'll go into the search bar on Redbubble and type in the 27 podcast, all one word, and there they would find our two designs: our main logo, which you find on each episode, that art, and then also our our cover photos and stuff, where we have each three of our favorite colors in a nice the three-way it's called.
The three-way, yeah.
And you find out Redbubble, and as we've spoken about it in other podcasts, so we won't go on for it for much longer. But anything, if you do want to buy something, just support us out. And actually, we've had a pretty decent response, I'd say. It definitely surprised me. And then Joscel, nice hat. If I went onto Redbubble, I wouldn't be able to find a hat. So where would I get a hat?
Limited edition hat this is, from a very, very good friend of ours who makes these hats for us.
Shout her name out.
Good old Starlet Crow, you legend. Thank you very much.
Salt and Stitch is her Instagram handle. And we are going to be selling hats as well. So obviously we've got audio listeners, so we'll make a post about it on our social media and stuff. And
I was going to go
really nice hats, some nice colorways and things, and it's all hand done, and it's just supporting a friend as well, as much as we love them. So it's great to be able to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I was just going to describe what the hat looks like. When it's blue and it's got the number 27 stitched into it. So that's the benefit of the audio listeners. If you want to preview,
well, Harry, you got to boost our
engagement,
our socials as well.
But links to that will be in the description down below. So, guys, this week has anything happened? Any changes? Anything interesting going on?
1 week ago, I got a puppy.
Oh yes!
Oh my God!
Little Woody.
Benefit for the
Woody!
He was a bit restless when he first came up, as in first came into my room a minute ago. Saw my mic and things and was a bit like, but now he's conked out now. He's
I love him. I can't wait to meet him. I genuinely cannot wait to meet him.
Yeah, got a little cocker spaniel. I've wanted a dog with my mum for ages, and it's nice to finally get one. He's because he's a puppy, he has these bursts of energy. So first thing in the morning, he's like, "Yeah, let's go," and then he'll sleep for 2 hours, and then he'll get up again for half an hour, 40 minutes, be like, "Come on, yeah," and then he'll sleep for 2 hours, and it's just the same thing pretty much all day. But at the moment, it's quite annoying because obviously we've only had him a week, so it's not very long. But I put him to bed at 10 o'clock, but he normally has a sleep at 8 o'clock. So by the time I go to put him to bed, he's ready and he's up and he wants to be up and going and have that burst of energy. So I'm out in the garden with him, in the pitch, black, and I'm dancing with him just to try and
get rid of the energy.
Trying to get some, ruin some energy, burn some energy. So, but no, he's a cute boy. We took him over to see my granddad yesterday, and my granddad doesn't like dogs, but he absolutely loved him. He was a really good boy as well.
Well, Harv is the opposite though, because he's turning 13 in August, and he sleeps all day, and he has these 5-minute bursts of energy, and then he just sleeps again. So I'm like, oh cool, I get to see Harvey for 20 minutes a day when he's not asleep.
I think it's beneficial though, because obviously we can't take Woody for a walk yet.
I
think when because they have to wait for them to have their second jab. So we've got to wait another 3 weeks. But I think once you can walk them in the morning and then walk them in the evening, it's much easier because they sort of use that energy then rather than
just having it throughout the day
sporadically. But no, it's cool. He's a good little boy, and he's got this. He's been very well. He's settled in straight away, and
he does look very at home there actually from your Instagram.
He was a litter of 9. And he was one of the shy ones. So we went and saw them. We were the second person to pick them up. And there were some big old puppies. There was this one called Bailey. It was this black cocker. And he was very cute, but he was a big boy. And apparently he would push his way to the front, and Woody would never really eat. So they had to feed him separately. So I think he's quite happy. Just being on his own, really, and just enjoy.
That's cool. That's what we might be seeing him in a couple of weeks. And how has he grown much since you got him last week? Then
I think the problem is, I was saying this to my mum yesterday. Actually, is we will notice when he gets bigger, but because you see him every day,
that's true.
You're not going to notice the gradual change. It's like if when us three live together, if one of you went, oh, I've put on weight or I've lost weight, I wouldn't notice it. But if we come back from the summer holidays,
that's what happened this year, wasn't it? Over summer or whatever. When I got there, I was like, "Where the fuck is the rest of you? You've just disappeared."
And that's the thing is, you wouldn't notice that if we were living with each other every day. Eventually, you would. You'd be like, "Oh yeah, you have lost all that weight," but it's that seeing them. So obviously, if I went away to uni again, I'm not because I'm graduated, and then I came back and saw Woody, then he'd obviously I'd notice a big change. But I think it would take a while for me to notice.
I just can't go over how quickly dogs grow though. And other animals like horses, when they're born, within 20 minutes they're walking around. I'm like, it takes babies months.
But I guess if you think about it, we live till average age about 75 or something, isn't it now? Maybe a bit higher.
Yeah.
Whereas a horse lives to what, 14 maybe?
Yeah,
So-
still though. I mean, it's
No, but you've got to think like
oh, I know.
everything they do is compressed.
Yeah.
In
Oh,
a
no,
short,
that's
so,
true.
like, if
That's
it took them
true.
like a year to walk,
Yeah.
then they'd only have like 12 years or whatever walking,
Yeah.
whereas we have another 76.
I'm just saying that the human babies are probably the worst out of all the animal babies. They're so useless. They're not even finished growing. Like
Oh,
their bone structure, their bone structure hasn't even finished growing in yet.
Yeah, but they are cute as hell.
They're adorable.
Gotta love a baby.
I don't know. I'm just scared of dropping them. Like I've only ever held 2 babies in my entire
You
life.
want to be a dad, don't you?
I do want to be a dad, but like other people's
You're just
babies,
not gonna help with the baby.
I do not trust myself around other people's
Are
babies.
you?
Oh, what? So it's okay if you drop yours?
Well, yeah, well, no, but then I'm like, oh, it's mine, so it's all right. But if I drop someone else's baby, I'm not doing that. No. Oh dear.
Wow.
How is Woody finding living with a cat as well? Because you got a cat as well, haven't you, Ben?
So cats and dogs actually do get along pretty well.
Alright.
Not at the
Yeah,
start.
we
It
used to
does
have a
take them a
cat.
while.
Yeah.
But they do get along. And so Biscuit was very much the man of the house. And my mum said, as long as he can keep that, then there won't be an issue. So we've had him a week, and they're slowly getting closer to each other. Like Woody yesterday, the cat and him were very close, and he just wants to play with the cat. That's all it is. He just sees like everyone. He just wants to play with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And the cat was kind of like, yo, what are you doing? Like, you know.
Yeah.
But no, I think the cat will be okay. It'll just take a bit of getting used to. But you know, and my mum has made sure that the cat hasn't been left out. Like we're obviously all like Woody, but my mum's always like,
also Biscuit,
like,
also Biscuit.
Yeah, like no, but like so when she first wakes up, she'll be with Biscuit, and Biscuit sleeps in her room still.
Oh, okay.
She's not going to let Woody sleep in her room because she thinks that's unfair to Biscuit, which it probably is. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, if the cat's been there for a
it's
few
not.
years, then yeah.
Yeah. If it was another cat, there'd be an issue. Like we've had other cats, and the cats had issues with the other cats.
Yeah. Well, didn't you have one that you lost or whatever? Like, and then like 2 years later, someone found it.
Yeah, literally, yeah. We lost our cat for 2 years, and then my mum just got a phone call one day and said, "Oh, we've got your cat," and she was like, "No, Biscuit's right here." And she was like, "No, you're Mac," and we were like, "Oh my god, like, you're joking me."
Not another one.
No, like, but I mean, that is some story. Like, lost your cat for 2 years, and we just thought, like, you know, sadly she'd been hit by a car or something.
Yeah,
and that was it.
But now just chilling in the
or
park.
she'd just gone off with some other family or something. You know, that's sometimes what happens. But 2 years as well. 2 years.
Going back to like sort of pets living together or whatever. Like, we've got some neighbours. They've got some chickens and they've got a dog as well. And when they got a dog as a puppy, they were really worried about like what the chickens would do. But they Googled it, you know, they researched it, and apparently they spoke to all sorts of vets and stuff. What the chickens will do is that they'll peck the nose of the puppy, and then after that, like that'll assert the dominance, and then the dog should leave them alone. However, his chickens didn't get this memo, and they ran away from the dog, and then within an hour, all of them were dead.
Wow.
You're joking.
So they got new chickens, and also they're in a cage now as well. But, yeah.
That's tragic.
But yeah, so the dog, the dog isn't allowed to interact with the chickens anymore.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
That's quite a sad story.
Yeah, I mean it was like 10 years ago, but
I'm just yet to get a pet.
You not had any. You got a bloody elephant.
What?
Yeah, but that's different though, isn't it? I can't exactly just, let me just take my elephant for a walk. I'd have to fly to Birmingham.
I mean,
Excuse me. Sorry, Joscel has an elephant.
Yeah, I've got a pet elephant, Harry.
Where did you get an elephant?
How did you not know this?
I don't know. It's never popped up in conversation. Oh, by the way, I've got an elephant. It's called Christopher.
Yeah.
Yeah, his name's Christopher.
Oh, that's adorable. Christopher. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Is he still alive?
Huh?
Is he still alive?
Yeah, he's still alive. He's just doing his thing, man. It's like,
how does something like that go about? Do you go to a pet shop and buy one? Like,
a little cage. Oh, blue.
that one. I like
Yeah,
that.
do you like
It's so
catch it with a Pokeball or something? Like, what's it?
A big net. They get a really big net. And they go catch them.
No, because that's like animal cruelty. We don't
No.
we don't endorse animal cruelty.
No. It was. Oh well, I had him since I was very, very young. To be honest, like he was a baby also, and then he was kind of like where we lived at that time. There was like a massive, just open, like field type business, right? And Mum was like, "Oh, I've got this little baby elephant." I was like, "Oh my god, yeah!" And then we just called him Christoph. I was like, "Oh, Christopher," and he was there with me for like ages. And then, obviously, when we moved here, a large portion of my family, like my aunties, uncles, all they're still over there, so they look after him. But obviously, he's huge.
Oh. Has he cut out for you?
Frozen on yours as well.
He's also frozen with like.
It's like his orgasm face.
So Ben, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yeah.
Should we leave this in? Oh, we're back.
Yeah, we lost you for that whole conversation.
So I still don't actually know how Joscel got a pet elephant because he cut out for that entire conversation.
Did you not catch it?
Yeah, you were like...
No, you froze, mate. You were coming. You were orgasming on screen.
Oh, dear.
No, so basically we just found him and kept him as a baby.
Oh, that's
nice. And that was beautiful.
I'm assuming he's still in Burundi as well. You've not just brought him over to Birmingham. Just chilling in your garden.
Harry, I think you would have known if you brought it over.
Yeah, true. That's true.
Birmingham family has elephants in back garden.
Anyone fancy a pint?
Our next guest to join us at the Rusty Club is the one and only Emily Bowe. And she has, she set up this blog. It's called The Level Playing Field. And I just think it is really, really great. It basically promotes different sporting heroes in ways that they would never be recognized. So it, tackles with people that have suffered illnesses through sports, through, I guess you could say, village heroes that never get recognition outside of, in the professional world. And it's just a really happy and wholesome blog. And I've invited Emily on today because I just want her to talk to us about why she wants to do it, where she sees it going, and everything like that. So also that the blog could get some recognition from our lovely listeners. So firstly, Emily, how are you?
Yeah, I'm really well, thank you. Very much enjoying the sunshine and unemployed life. It's great.
I mean, yeah.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's hitting that hard at the moment.
Yeah.
So let's get straight to it. So the blog to you, tell us about it, why you started it.
Yeah. So basically, I've always been like a mad sports fan. Played it, watched it, coached it, everything, and sort of always knew that I wanted a job in sports media, probably somehow. My dream is to be like Gabby Logan or something like that, but it's quite a far-fetched dream. The
new Sue Baker.
Yeah, one of the two. But yeah, so I literally just recently graduated history and politics, and was sort of looking for internships or anyone to write for, and due to the current climate, it's just completely dried up. Sports is probably one of the hardest hit industries, I guess. It's literally just not happening in a lot of cases, and grads are the first people to go, or so there's not those kind of entry-level jobs in that area. So basically I just was like, okay, whatever, I'm just going to try and do it myself, and knew that I had a bit of time, obviously. So yeah, it kind of came to me as an idea about, you very kindly mentioned it there, about sort of unsung heroes, village heroes, maybe people who have faced adversities in their sport, but these people aren't necessarily Premier League players, they're not Olympians, that kind of thing. So I kind of thought there was like a bit of a gap in how sport was sort of talked about in mainstream media, and obviously Champions League final, World Cup final, all have a rightful place in mainstream sports media. But I just thought it was kind of a cool idea to draw attention to people who kind of otherwise didn't, and hopefully, like, as a sports fan reading it, you'd be just as interested in an article about a village cricketer as you would about Ben Stokes. That's kind of the aim anyway.
No, and I really do think that is. So I've started playing village cricket this year, and it's where I grew up, the village, and so I know a lot of the players anyway. But a lot of them are old, and there is like one of them called Peter Moore. He's honestly played for the team, I think, for about 50 years, and like he is a hero of the club. Like he is a hero of that team, and he will go down in the team's history. But he'll never get the recognition outside of the village for it. And I think it's really nice, and a nice way to show off these people.
Yeah.
To be honest, Emily, we're a bit like you. So you set up your blog in lockdown. We set up this podcast in lockdown. So it would kind of all tuning into our artistic skills. Yeah, exactly. And it was kind of just a way for us to do something as well and stay interacted and not go insane, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
So where do you see this going? What's your vision for the blog?
Yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, I'd love for it to become a thing of itself. But firstly, I mean, I'm very much learning about, I kind of only thought about the writing aspect, didn't kind of think about, social media, like all the analytics on Facebook and that kind of thing, which I've become quite obsessed by. I have my little WordPress stats, and I love it. I'm like, oh, someone's just seen it from China or something.
I'm so obsessed with all the stats as well. Like whenever we upload it, like I think we got a listen in Germany like about a few weeks ago, and I was like, oh my god, guys, some other people know us.
Yeah, it kind of annoys me more because I'm like, I want to know who they are. How did they find me?
It's so odd because I couldn't care less. Like I genuinely couldn't. I just I never look at how many views or listens we get. Whereas Harry is really conscious about them and is always checking to see what performs and what doesn't. It's funny how different people react to it. And
So I guess I'm learning lots anyway, social media, all that kind of stuff. But it's kind of made me realize how difficult it is to get something to be, the very top level. I've got loads of lovely friends who are sharing it and supporting me and things, but trying to get it to the right people and trying to get people to click on something is like a mammoth task. So we'll see. I mean, if it doesn't become something of itself, it's practice, it's showing that I kind of got off my arse and did something during lockdown. I'm just sort of letting it happen, and I'm really enjoying doing it, so it's not like it's too much of a chore, and we'll see.
So how do you go about and find these people then?
So most of them so far have been friends or friends of friends that, so for example with Grace, I've literally known her since I was 3 and sort of grew up knowing her condition, and I swam with her actually, but never really we didn't really talk about it, and she just sort of got on with it and that kind of thing. And then it was only when my mum was like, oh, you should speak to Grace, she's flourishing at Brooks now and stuff, you should talk to her about her journey, because obviously my mum remembers it quite a lot more. And then I sat down with her and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe that you had to overcome all this at such a young age, and I didn't realize. And then I've kind of found that with pretty much everyone I've spoken to. So the most recent one was Lydia, who again I've played hockey with since I was 8 years old. And she went on to play international hockey and that kind of thing. And, everyone was always like, oh, Lydia's, the superstar, she's doing so well. And, she had this whole other side of her experience, which was, real troubles with her mental health in the game and the support from the top. And again, I was going to speak to her about, her experiences with international hockey, and it kind of, took on a whole nother side to it that I didn't really realize. So, at the moment it's just sort of friends and friends of friends, but I'm kind of hoping that maybe people will come to me if they feel like they've got an interesting story. Or I said to Ben before, I'd love to get guest writers on soon, and they can talk about people or things that they're really passionate about. So it's all just a work in progress and sort of seeing where it goes.
I guess that is the thing, isn't it? It's quite difficult to find these people, and I guess that could be another reason why they've never, unless you have the capabilities, say you work for the BBC or something, and they're just go traveling around the country and go find some, unsung heroes. It's
Yeah.
quite difficult in a position, where you can't necessarily pay yourself to go do that.
Yeah.
So I get, you need like the community and things to step up and help you out.
Yeah, but I think kind of the reason why I kind of stumbled across doing this sort of aspect is I spoke to some people already in sports journalism or worked for the BBC or something, and they were like, with all due respect, I'm sure you know your stuff and whatever, but people aren't going to read your articles if you're talking about like Ronaldo or gold medalist, because there's thousands of other people who are more qualified doing that, who have already a platform. So they were like, think of something different, think of something that these people don't have time to do but they might find interesting. So this woman, Alison Mitchell, actually, who's a test match special commentator.
I love Alison.
Yeah. So she's
GMS.
Yeah. I mean, the dream job, literally. But I spoke to her and she was like, oh well, our local cricket club, Cookno, are having troubles at the moment with getting evicted, and it'd be like great if you could speak to someone like them. So I was like, yeah, do it. And so did that article, and then I sent it to her and she retweeted and everything because she was interested, but she didn't have the time to do it herself. So that's kind of how it's happening. Yeah,
that's cool. That is really cool. And as you say, like, hopefully as much, I guess, you would like to see your own thing take off, but this is going to help elevate you and in jobs and things, and especially if you've got a nice backlog and can show people what you're doing. Because what is it like? Everyone wants experience now, don't they? Or what do you do outside of your degree? What do you do that? God.
Well, it's got to the point. Like, I mean, I applied for a job the other day, and it was like, graduate job needs at least 1 year's experience. And I'm like, well, I've been at uni for the last 3 years. How am I supposed to get experience?
Yeah. And then having to do like unpaid internships and that kind of thing. It's just it's a bit of a vicious cycle, isn't it? So I'll just resign from unemployment. That's fine.
It's amazing what companies want, and they're like, oh, we want all this, but then we're only going to pay you 16 grand a year. And it's like, well, why would I come with all this stuff and then get treated poorly and paid poorly as well?
No, but it's so after you, Ben.
Go on, Mr. Barr.
I was just saying. So I was just wondering. Obviously, you've been sort of going through the village cricket, the hockey, the swimming. Would you possibly look at expanding it through sort of other sort of lesser known sports within the UK? So maybe, like say looking from an English perspective, looking at sort of like Gaelic football in Ireland or something like that, or hurling.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it started with mainstream sports because that's kind of where I've got the contacts. But I would love to do something like that. And something like Gaelic football is so important in certain communities, and it's like you've got these local heroes there, and so I'd love to do something like that. And hopefully that would be kind of where I can go next. I've got a friend actually who he's my age, but he played bowls for England. So it's him and a bunch of sort of 70-year-olds, but like he loved it and he's great at it. So those kind of things I'd love to sort of shed light on.
Well, there are so many sports as well that as Harry's saying, that don't really get in the light of day. And for example, so we all played American football at uni, and obviously American football is massive in America. And it is getting bigger here, but there are some really good teams here. There are some really good players, but they won't ever, make it out necessarily in America. And I guess, interesting.
I know it's funny with the bowls. Like, so I mean, I remember watching. So when you watch the Olympics, obviously you got all the athletics, the rowing, the swimming, all of that. But then I really like watching the Commonwealth Games because they have sports that you'd never normally watch. Like squash is at the Commonwealth Games, but I didn't know it wasn't at the Olympics. And the bowls is there as well. I just love to like sit down and just be like, oh, I'm just gonna watch some bowls today.
I got a memory up on Facebook actually a couple of days ago of me and my brother sat on the sofa with like Union Jack flags and a hat and stuff, and was like, we haven't moved for 3 weeks, and this was during the 2000. I'm not kidding, the pair of us just sat in front of the telly. It didn't do very much to encourage us being active or anything like it was supposed to. But we were watching like the pentathlon, with the shooting and all sorts. I love it. But the problem is, these get like huge attention every 4 years, and then that kind of drops off, and people don't see the in between, you know, the sacrifices that they still make and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like at the Winter Olympics, curling. I do remember, I think it might have been the last Winter Olympics, like America and Russia or something were doing it, and it was like a really good game of curling. I've got no idea what a good game of curling consists of, but like the crowd was going,
it's
the one where you you know, that one, yeah. And like they were like, the crowd were going mental, and like you know, players are going mad, and you think, obviously, I guess if I was there, I'd get caught up in it 100%.
Oh yeah,
like, I'd get I would immerse myself so much into it. But you know, like in our school, like, the greatest curling matches, or like who is the greatest ever curler? You know, if curler is that the right word to describe? Like, you know, that'd be such an interesting.
Yeah, I think kind of that's what I'm trying to tap into. You know, like people like you who are like general sports fans, like you could find a match of curling just as like exciting as a World Cup final, because you know it's still people playing at their best and competing and that kind of thing, but you would never have come across that curling match otherwise. But the basic, like, you know, sporting instinct and competitiveness is still there.
Yeah. Well, my dad's 62 this year, and he's basically been watching the Winter Olympics his whole life, and he's got really, really into curling, and he gets really excited when it's on, just because like he's like, oh, I get to watch the curling again, because it's never it's never on telly. So
exactly. It's never ever, you know, it's like I was talking about rowing the other day. So Brooks has an amazing rowing team, like one of arguably the best in the world or whatever, but it's not like football where there's the Premier League of football and you can do it as a full-time job. You can't really do, like, the Olympic sports, you can't really do as full-time jobs, because you get your gold medal. So, okay, so different maybe for like someone like Usain Bolt, but some rowers, okay, and I don't know who won, but I know we're pretty good at rowing, GB or whatever. I couldn't tell you who won the last gold medal for us, but I'm pretty certain we won it. Like, we're pretty good at it. But they would have just had to get, like, a lot of them just go back to their daytime jobs, don't they? And it's you know, and it's amazing that you could be an Olympic gold medalist, but then during the week you're just sat in your office 9 to 5, you know, doing accounts or something. Like,
well, that's kind of what came up in my hockey article with Lydia, is that kind of I was comparing it to like the youth setup in football, and how, you know, it's already quite a contentious thing that footballers get sort of poached when they're like 12, 13 for these academies, and sort of promised this like amazing glittering football career, and it's quite all consuming. And in some ways it's very similar in hockey, yet you don't have the like financial reward of it at the end. So you know, Lydia still went and did a degree and played like the top level hockey, but never got a penny for it. And it's kind of requires the same amount of sacrifice as a football or rugby career does, but without any of the promise of a job or money. And I guess it's like that with lots of Olympic sports as well. It has to be.
Well, I guess you're doing it. I guess you're doing it for the love of the sport then as well. Like, and you know, you've got I think that's why it means so much to them, because you know it's their moment in the spotlight, having, you know, years of hard work for something they actually love. But
I agree with that, Harry. But I think if I was to win a gold medal, I wouldn't. If I was for your country as well, I wouldn't then expect to have to go back and sit in my job 9 to 5 every day. You know, like, I think that.
Like, and that is why you don't have an Olympic medal.
Yeah. But I just think it's
you
a bit
just go
crazy.
around, wear the gold medal everywhere.
100%. Yeah. I'd be stood next to my gold post box outside, like all the time. I'm like, this is me. But Emily, thank you so much for coming on and you know, giving us your time. I hope people come away from this and, you know, go find you. And do you want to shout out your socials? And I don't know if you have
so it's just the level playing field on Instagram, and then there's a link there.
Great name as well. Great.
The links will be down below as well. And just before you get, this is the most important question you may ever have to answer in your entire life. What is your favourite ABBA song?
Ooh.
Great
so
question.
I've got some like quite mainstream favourites, I guess, you know, Gimme Gimme or Voulez-Vous, but I really like, I don't know if you've heard it, if it wasn't for the Nights. I don't know if you've
I
heard
don't know
that.
that one.
It's a
I
bit of a-
thought I'd listen to all of ABBA's back.
What?
Oh my gosh.
No, it's a real bop,
God,
but
a
it's
proper
got,
deep cut.
yeah, but it's got great lyrics. It's something. What she says, she's like, if it wasn't for the nights, then maybe I'd be all right. And it's like, oh, that hits deep.
That's
there.
deep, yeah.
When you're lying in your bed at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
looking up at the wall thinking, oh my gosh.
No, I've never
ABBA
done
running
that.
around
I've
you.
never done that.
Oh, dear.
Well, thank you for that. And I'm going to go away and make the boys listen to that song with me.
Mhm,
Yeah.
God, we're learning so much today, I tell you, boys. No, Emily, thank you again so much. And stay safe out there and good luck. And I hope it all goes well.
Thank you. You guys too. Yeah, it's a great thing you're doing, and I hope it continues to grow.
Thank you very much. All right. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you, Emily.
Right,
Cheers.
have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
Anyone fancy a pint?
Another massive thank you to Emily for coming on. Her blog will be linked down below. Go and check it out. I've just had a read of an article, and it's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, and they're not like massive reads as well. Like she literally says, like she tells you how long it would take you to read it. So she's like, it's a 2-minute read, and then you learn quite a lot in 2 minutes. So I think it's really interesting. So please go check it out. So we haven't done this for a while, but we're actually going to do a nothing to watch again. Wow, guys, I tell you, like, I was thinking about it the other day. We've actually got quite a lot of bits, if you get me. Like we have different games and things to play, but we just don't have time to do them every week. So yeah, we're going to do a nothing to watch. We're going to watch The Speed Cuber.
Oh, I hit my
The documentary on Netflix, and it follows the Rubik's Cube solving champion.
we just spotted. We're like, right, we're watching that. That's gonna be a good little watch, I think. Yeah,
it's only 40 minutes as well, so if you guys want to watch it beforehand, please do, because we will spoil. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Did he solve the Rubik's Cube? Yes, he did. Watched it.
Well, he's the champion, so we already know he can do it.
I don't know. Maybe he taught himself how to do it. We don't know. Maybe he it was like one of those there's like Vice videos, and it's like, I taught myself how to do this. Turns out he accidentally became the world champion.
So also, since we last recorded, some really big news in Joscel's life. The gyms have opened again. Joscel, how's your experience been?
Okay. My first session back was like 2 days ago, and oh my word, I used that as a benchmark day to see, where I'm at, what's happened, what things have been put in place in my local gym, which I can commend very highly, to be honest, first and foremost. Like, they've done a really good job ensuring like safety of the members and stuff. But oh my word, quarantine was tough, on me personally, in terms of my overall strength. But the boys know, before quarantine happened, I basically lived in that place.
Yeah, we hardly saw you.
I was in the gym. But yeah, it was just insane. Like, it's just, I did chest on that first day, right? 34 kilograms is normally.
Yeah, I was about to bring what I did up. Okay, but yeah, you go.
It's a good warm up for me, and I was honestly struggling with 34. I was like, oh my gosh, I actually need a spot for this 34. So I had to just drop down. I had to stay in the 20 to 24 range. I was like, okay,
welcome to our world, Joscel.
Well, yeah, no, but that's the thing, is I was just doing the bar. So I was like, okay, I'll just do the bar. Yeah. And then I will slowly go up. But I'm not going to rush into it. So I've only just added 5K. But I was doing the bar, and I'm doing mine a bit differently. So I'm just doing 100 bench presses, okay, every time I go. And so I did that, and I was like, oh my gosh, actually, this is difficult. And I've just put 5s on each side, so that's 30. And I'm like, oh, okay, like I'm struggling, and it is amazing how much muscle you can lose, in strength. Well, not muscle, I guess, but the strength actually you can lose so quickly as well. Because I was quite fortunate to have some dumbbells, so my arm strength isn't too bad. Like, I'm lifting with the barbell and stuff. I'm lifting what if I was doing bicep curls, I'm doing the same as I was pre-lockdown. Yeah, chest and stuff, and my legs, and yeah, it's all different now.
Well, so unlike Ben and Joscel, I've never really liked the gym. Like, I remember in second year, Ben made me go, and I ended up going with you guys quite a bit. Like, I don't like going on my own, but there's a gym that's recently opened in my village where I live, and quarantine, as Joscel said, has been quite tough, and especially like I was putting the YouTube videos, so all the podcast episodes, into a playlist on YouTube, so it's easier for you guys to watch. And I clicked on the first episode, and I went, "Oh no, my face is so much thinner in that first episode than it was in episode like 13 when I was doing this." I was like, right, okay, I need to actually properly lose some weight. So I've started Couch to 5K, the NHS thing. It's like an app that you can do it, and basically it takes you within 9 weeks from running for like a minute at a time to running 30 minutes uninterrupted, which is about 5 kilometers. And I'm 3 weeks in, and like my private Instagram probably hate me because I'm just posting it every time I do it. I'm like, oh, I did this run, da 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 da. But yeah, no, but I went back.
I'd rather you post it on there than on your main, so I don't mind.
That's fair. No, but I went to
Ramona cough.
Yeah, but I went to the gym on Monday, and I ended up doing all right. I cycled like 6.5 miles, and then I stupidly decided to run immediately after that. So my legs were killing on Tuesday. But yeah, no, it's something that I'm quite happy I'm getting back into. And it's
obviously different as well, because we all have. When you go to the gym, no one really has the same goal. So Joscel's is all about, I guess, like building up muscle and looking as being as strong as you can. Whereas mine at the moment is trying to get lean but muscly. And then Harry, you're trying to lose some weight. So it's obviously we can go to the gym together, but we all have different goals. So sometimes not actually that. And we all train differently. Like I have areas that I focus on, whereas I know Joscel, you have like your specific days to do things. But I'm doing a lot of full body stuff, and then Harry, you're doing a lot of cardio. So like it is. I don't actually like going to the gym with other people. I don't mind like if we went as a 3 and then all did our own things, that is fine. But because like we all have different visions of what we want, and so that's why I think it's good to
when I went with you in sort of third year, we were all playing American football as well. So like the fitness I was already on, so I thought I might as well try and just build up some muscle in any way here and build up some strength. Like I have what I call like farmer strength. Like I'm not like I don't know how much I can lift at a gym because I've never really done it. But if you tell me to move a heavy object, I'll go and move the heavy object. And it's like I mean at work, they're always like, oh, can you just move this? I'm like, yeah, okay, just pick it up. And I'm like, how heavy was that? I'm like, I don't know, heavy. Yeah. So it's like controlling that strength is difficult, but yeah. So, but we all go to the gym and do different things. Everybody's different.
A bit of an insight into us. But no, everyone stay safe out there.
Stay safe, yeah. Especially recent news.
Yeah, recent stuff obviously isn't great, but I don't think we'll go back into lockdown again. Just simply because the government won't want us to because of the economy. But no, everyone stay safe out there and wash your hands. If you've gone on holiday, obviously have an amazing time, but please stick to the if you've been told to quarantine, please stick to it. When you
Don't be an idiot.
I saw an article about it was a meme about people that booked their holidays when the lockdown got lifted, having their flights cancelled again. I was like, that must be tough. That must be so tough.
It must be suck because actually a friend of the show, recent host James Kennedy, he's currently in Mallorca.
Hi James.
But he's gonna have to quarantine when he gets back. But he didn't know that when he went out there. So I think that is obviously difficult. But sadly, it's as much if you wanted to go on holiday in this time, then I think you kind of gotta face the consequences.
Yeah. When will you learn? Your actions have consequences.
No, we got another guest coming on the show next week as well. We got this really cool guy called Lionel Chambers. Chalmers. His video, he's a YouTuber, and the work he puts into these videos is unreal. Like his cinematography is just off the charts. It's so good.
Makes Casey Neistat look like an amateur.
Yeah. And he's another American, so we're going international 2-time, baby.
International!
Yeah, come back for that one. It's going to be really good and really interesting.
Yeah.
Anything from you two?
No, just keep on listening. Give us a like on Facebook. Give us a follow on Instagram. Go and give the YouTube.
Buy the merch.
Buy the merch.
And
Buy
buy
the
some
merch.
merch from Red Bull.
Next week you
Buy
should
some
see
merch
me
from Red
in my t-shirt when it finally arrives. But yeah, we're looking up to that. So we'll see you guys next week.
Absolutely. Stay happy. Stay healthy. Goodbye.